Hey y'all, you are tuned into Thoughts of a Black Queen podcast. This is your host, Lorraine Renee, also known as the Black Queen, and you are tuned into episode 29, A Woman's Thoughts on Her New Year's Resolutions. Let's do this.
Let's do this.
It's showtime.
You're listening to the Thoughts of a Blog Queen podcast.
These are just my thoughts.
With your host, Lorraine Renee.
A woman, her thoughts, and a mic.
Are you ready? Check this out.
All right, y'all. So listen, this is kind of an impromptu episode that I'm doing here, right? Because y'all know, listen, I'm supposed to drop episodes on y'all every other Thursday. So I have an episode to drop for y'all next Thursday. But in the spirit of this being the eve of New Year's Eve, I got a little bit inspired. And I thought it would be cool to kind of talk about New Year's resolutions and just all my thoughts on those. Kind of wanted to know what other people had to say about it. Like, is that still a thing? Are we still doing that? I can remember like back in like my early 20s when like, I feel like, you know, New Year's resolutions was like a big thing. Like it was like cute to set New Year's resolutions, but I think that narrative has kind of changed a little bit and people are just more so setting goals, right? And so I wanted to throw a quick pregame thought question out there just to see what everybody was thinking about it. And so it was just a pretty straight to the point question, no fluff about it. It was just basically like, what are your thoughts on, making or setting, however, New Year's resolutions, right? So let's get into these pregame thoughts and I'll be right back. All right, y'all. So the question was, what are your thoughts on making New Year's resolutions? And I had a few people to drop some feedback. So Marquita Bowman, she says, I don't do resolutions anymore. I started setting goals and making them personal and realistic, but to each their own. Shanine Young, shout out to her. She is an amazing author, coach, teacher, podcast host, all of the above. Sis said, I don't see anything wrong with it. I just feel like we should also be setting quarterly, weekly, and monthly goals too. Adaria Reed, she said, same here. Not against them, just not setting any. And she said that actually in response to someone else who, Alexis Martin, she said, I would say against. I believe in setting specific goals all year long. So it's pointless for me to do New Year's resolutions. And so that's kind of where that came from, where Adaria was in agreement with that. So shout out to these four ladies. Thank you for your feedback. It was just a quick, like I said, this episode was impromptu. So I thank y'all for participating in the question of the day. So basically, y'all, this is how we're going to get to the end of the episode. We're going to hit a couple of points and we're going to talk about if I personally am for or against New Year's resolutions. We're going to talk about how effective they are. I got a few statistics to give you guys. We're going to talk about if I've ever been personally successful with setting New Year's resolutions, what my New Year's resolutions for 2022 are. We're also going to talk about some of the most common resolutions that people are out here making. And we're going to do a little bit of a bonus chat. And we're just going to talk about if sex and intimacy can in any form be an actual New Year's resolution. And last but not least, we're going to talk about why I want to rename New Year's resolutions. And yeah, I want to change the name. I want to change the name up and I'm going to tell y'all why. And I'm going to tell y'all what I want to change them to. So let's get into this. Now, so the first corner, like, first of all, am I for or against New Year's resolution? I have to say that I'm neutral on it. Like I said, I don't think that I've been participating in setting New Year's resolutions since I was like very, very much very much younger than what I am now. I would have to say early 20s. Like I said, I think there was a period where New Year's resolutions was like a big deal. I want to say kind of like around that new millennium time, there was a big like emphasis on setting New Year's resolutions. And I think it was just kind of like cute and like, you know, it was the thing to do. Like, okay, I got these New Year's resolutions and I'm going to set them. But it's just kind of changed. And I think people are really just trying to be more realistic about what it is that they're going to do, what they can do, what they need to do, what they really ain't going to do. So like, why even set myself up for that failure? And so I don't think that, you know, I would say that I'm against them. Wouldn't say that I'm for them. I would just kind of say it's like, if that's what's going to help you to get to your next best level in life, then do that. Like, right, everything that we do in life is about elevating, it's about growing, it's about getting to our next level. So if for you, setting New Year's resolutions is something that is going to help you and give you that boost that you need, then by all means do it. But if you feel like setting these resolutions is going to put you in a place where you are going to be adding pressure to yourself by setting these resolutions, then let's just be realistic about it. Like, let's just really take a step back and just like Shanine said, like, focus on setting things, not just, okay, this is what I need to do for the year. Break things down. Do it so that it works for you. Every goal that you set in life, that's just like what we're taught when we're setting SMART goals. It needs to be attainable. Right? One of the things that needs to be attainable for you to do, and needs to be realistic. So I would have to say, if I'm for or against it, would be kind of based on the person. Right? So have I ever been successful with setting New Year's resolutions? Again, I don't remember the last time I actually had a talk with myself like, okay, Lorraine, you need to set these damn New Year's resolutions. Get your paper and pen out and write out this list. I don't remember the last time I did that. So I can't sit here and say that I've ever been successful with setting New Year's resolutions. Now, there are things that like everyone is pretty much saying, there are goals that I've had in my life and I've hit those goals. I think for me, I think personally, I'm best up against the pressure of things sometimes. It kind of depends on the situation, but like when I know something has to happen or something that I know that I need to do and I'm faced up against it, like I do like to know like a deadline for it to get done, and then I will get it done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's kind of how, for me, I thrived when I was in college. Like, I was able to do certain things and be really successful more so under the pressure of getting things done. And so I think like when it came down to certain milestones and things that I needed to hit in my life, it was kind of the same thing. It was like, all right, I know this needs to happen and it cannot happen, or it can't not happen beyond this point or this date or whatever. And so I kind of just, go from there, and I kind of just make things happen. And I think that's a part of really just having favor over your life, when you're actually able to say that you've accomplished things and got things done that really you didn't really have a whole plan for. You just know you needed to get them done, and then things just kind of worked out. Like the process just kind of came together for you. I think that's kind of how things have unfolded for me personally. And so like when it comes down to saying, or if I'm asking myself the question, did I or am I going to set New Year's resolutions for 2022? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because I don't think at this point it's going to be realistic for me to do so, because I have a lot of chaos in my mind, and it's like a beautiful chaos. Like for me, it works for me. Now, I will say this. The one thing that I am going to make sure that I do for this year is I'm going to use a freaking planner and really use the planner. Like I got myself a planner, and I had myself a planner last year, a beautiful customized planner that I had made last year, and I didn't start using that sucker until November. I didn't start using it until November, and that's awful. That is completely awful. And I just know that for the things that I need to accomplish for this year, I just know that if I can, because I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna be here, here's my moment of truth, right? Here's my moment of truth. Prioritizing certain things and time management and procrastination are 3 of the things that I struggle with. So if I had to set any type of resolutions or goals or like things that I need to do for myself for the new year, like I need to try to figure out how to make those things like make them make sense for me. Procrastination, prioritizing, and the time management I need to do, and planning. Like I can plan to do certain tasks and know that I need to do them, but like I really want to break out a planner, and I really want to write out like a month, 2 months, 3 months in advance everything that I need to do, and I really want to follow it and stick to it. I want to have a perfect calendar set up to where I'm like, okay, because I have to use a calendar for certain things, like in my job, like in my corporate job. And so when it comes down to, you know, the thing, my business, my baby, my brand, I want to be just as organized in the same sense to where I'm able to like plan certain things out. So I think that's, for me, that's what I need to work on. Just kind of getting organized as far as planning things out ahead of time, because I'm like the queen of like on the spot shit. I will get stuff done like on the spot, or like, okay, oh, this came up, okay, I'm able to figure it out. But I want to do something different. I want to be, you know, I want to be more adult about it, and I want to plan my stuff out. So y'all just, say a little prayer for me. I'm able to get that done, because I don't know. The future hasn't been. It ain't, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So, now when it comes down to making New Year's resolutions, what are the most common resolutions that people are out here making, right? So for this episode, I had fun kind of coming up with a little bit of content for this. And so I did do a little bit of research, and I did do a little bit of reading and digging around just to kind of see some things. And so I found an article, and it gave us the top 10 most common New Year's resolutions. So here they are. Number 1, exercise more. Oh my God, we say that all the time. Exercise more. Number 2, lose weight. Number 3, get organized. That's for me. Number 4, learn a new skill or hobby. Number 5, live life to the fullest. Number 6, save more money, spend less money. Number 7, quit smoking. Number 8, spend more time with family and friends. Number 9, travel more. And number 10, read more. And so these are the top 10 most common resolutions that people are looking to do, they're wanting to do. And I mean, I would say that that's pretty accurate, because I know at least 4 of those are things that I could, 5, maybe even 6 of those are definitely things that I want to do, but it's just that I don't really place that pressure on myself to get, make sure that they have to happen, right? Because I think there's something that kind of happens to us psychologically, like in our subconscious mind, when you put that pressure on yourself to say it's a resolution, it just kind of changes the dynamic of it, I think. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think there's just something, there's an added extra element of stress when it becomes a resolution versus just like, okay, I have a goal to do this, and yeah, I hope I get it done. So those were the things that I came across when it comes down to what people are out here doing. And I think that, I mean, like everybody talks about wanting to lose weight. Everybody's talking about exercising more. Heck, I mean, that's all you see on social media. You see how, like, I think over the past few years, fitness and training and exercising and yoga and, going to the gym, that has really been just kind of become a like trendy thing to do. And so I think that that's something that's going to remain kind of at the top of people's list. They're going to want to really like get into fitness more. And, you know, for me, like, I think I don't have no way around it. You know what I'm saying? Because I happen to have a significant other who is literally probably the most in shape person that I know. And he's very, very much into fitness and health and, you know, eating right. And I thank God for that, because I don't always have that in me. You know what I'm saying? So he balances me there. Like, he inspires me and he motivates me to stay on top of taking care of myself. I respect that about him. And actually a lot of my habits, like my eating habits and my personal like choices and things that I'm consuming, it is not perfect and it is nowhere near as good as what he does, but it has definitely changed, and he has definitely had a major impact on the things that I'm putting into my body. And you know, just I'm more mindful of it, because I'm looking at him like side eye. And I'm knowing like that I want to be just as passionate about taking care of my body as he is. And I want to make sure that, you know, if this is our forever thing, like I want to be just as healthy 10, 20, 30 years from now as you are. So I think that losing weight and exercising and, you know, when it comes down to like fitness and taking care of yourself, I think that shouldn't have to be a goal or like a resolution. I think that should just be something that we just all aspire to do. I think that should just be something that we all need to prioritize. And I think that like when you turn it into something like, okay, I need to lose 50 pounds. And when you're in the bathroom on the scale, checking to see every week how many pounds you've lost, I think that adds something that adds the pressure to it, where it's like, okay, you want to make sure that each week you're able to say, oh, I lost 5 pounds, I lost 3 pounds, I lost 7 pounds, I lost 10 pounds, I'm down 2 more pounds. Like, I think that right there, that adds that pressure to it. So if we take that away from it, if we take that element away from it, and we just say, okay, I know that I need to lose this weight, right? So let me just start working towards it. Take the focus off of the number that you need to lose and just start like conditioning yourself to get in the habit of doing something better, right? I had a quote that I saw today, and it said something to the effect like, when a flower doesn't bloom, you fix the environment in which it grows, not the flower, right? So like, fix the environment. Don't worry about that stress of saying I have to lose 50 pounds by April, because don't do that. Just fix the environment. Change what you're doing. Start beginning to change some of the habits that you have. Just start to condition yourself. Stop paying attention to the obvious and just like make sure that you're putting yourself in position to be able to work towards it. Because then when you don't hit it, or when you don't reach the amount by this particular time, then you get upset about it, you get depressed about it, and you just don't know how that might set you back. So be a little bit more like take that pressure off of yourself to get, to lose the weight, or to just whatever it is. Just like ease yourself into it and just know that you have the intention to do this and make it work for you, right? I feel like if we can change our way of thinking about certain things, that's definitely going to have an effect on just like how we're successful at anything, not just New Year's resolutions, but just like anything that we do in life, and you'll begin to see that. And then, like, just like I was saying, his habits, they'll rub off on they rub off on me because I see how determined and how successful he is. And then I begin to kind of change things up in my own way at my own pace, right? Not to necessarily keep up with him, but just I'm inspired. So because I got inspired, I see where I'm starting to change things up. I can't go beast mode like he does. I'm not there yet. I'm nowhere near being there yet, but I am conditioning myself, and I'm working on things for myself, and I am making my environment doable for me so that I can eventually get to a comfortable space, or I can eventually hit that goal. And I think that's the approach that we need to take versus saying, okay, here's my checklist. Gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this. I think that's kind of almost, and not for everybody. Some people may truly be successful at setting New Year's resolutions, having a goal, writing them down, saying this needs to be done by January, this needs to be done by the end of February, and so on and so forth. And they may be 100% successful at that. And like I said, if that's what works for you, do that. But just because we're in December and we're approaching a new year, don't feel that pressure to feel like, okay, I gotta say something, or I gotta set some kind of goal, or if somebody's talking about New Year's, I gotta be able to comment on this post and say I'm doing this, or what's gonna sound good. Like, don't get caught up in all that hype, right? Because so that was another point that I wanted to hit about how effective are New Year's resolutions anyway. So let's talk about some statistics that I found first and foremost before we go further with that. So, success and failure rates over the first 6 months of setting them, right? So here's a couple of statistics that I found. So of those who make a New Year's resolution, after 1 week, 75% of people are still successful in keeping up with that resolution. This is after week 1. They're still successful, right? 75% of people. After 2 weeks, that 75% drops down to 71%, right? After 1 month, that 71% drops down to 64%, right? Of people that are still successful in sticking to the New Year's resolution that they set at the beginning of the year, or whenever they set it, December, whatever. And so at this point, after a month, we're down, we've went from 75% of people are successful to 64% after only 1 month. So by the end of January, that number has significantly dropped, right? After 6 months, half the year is gone. We have dropped from 75% of people that set New Year's resolutions down to 46% of people are still successful in keeping it. So over time, it's like it falls off. People have fallen off from sticking to those New Year's resolutions, and they fall off. The reasons why, we could go on and on and on about why that number dropped so significantly. That's because life changes. Shit happens. That's that reason. Shit happens. Life changes in so many different ways, and the circumstances of life change. Oh my God. Job circumstances, family circumstances, relationship circumstances, personal, mental health changes. We hit these periods where we're depressed and like, we're not thinking about no damn resolutions. We're not trying to go to no gym, right? We're not eating right. We're going through something, and some people, they feed their depression, they feed their anxiety, they drink a little bit more, whereas they just said back in December, I'm gonna stop drinking, or I'm gonna cut back, or I'm gonna only drink wine, and before you know it, they taking shots because they had a tough day. Like, life changes the dynamic of our mental health, our mental awareness, and our ability to really be successful at the things that we set. And we can't help the way that life is moving, right? It just changes happen. Some things are unexpected. Some things are expected. They are the inevitable, but we handle them differently. And so it's kind of hard to say, oh, we're going to just stick with this no matter what. Right? So I'm just sitting here. I'm looking at some of the statistics that I found for you guys. So we talked about how they decrease, right? We talked about how you have a group of people who set these goals. 75% are successful at it after the first week, and then after half the year is gone, we've significantly dropped down to less than 50% of people are still successful. So let's talk about why why the failure, why such a decline in the people that are successful at holding these or keeping up with these resolutions. Is because most people said they had unrealistic goals, and that's exactly what I said, right? If you're not realistic about it, where, like I was talking about with the weight loss, if you go into something saying, okay, next year I need to lose 100 pounds, is that realistic though? Like, are you really? And listen, it is most certainly doable, and we see it all the time. And you can lose weight, you can definitely do, but like, be realistic about it. Be realistic about the goals that you set for yourself, because if you're not, and then you feel that pressure, you're going to get away from doing it, because you're going to feel like, I can't do this shit. I can't do this shit. I cannot lose 50 pounds in a month. I can't do it. So I might as well go on ahead and go hit Five Guys up, because it ain't no need. Anyway, I'm not about to lose this weight. Or if after a week you've only lost 2 pounds, or 2 weeks in, say that you have a goal for a month, and your goal for the month was to lose 25 pounds. And after 3 weeks, you've only lost 7 pounds. You're like, you know what? Ain't no way in hell I'm going to lose that remaining amount in another week and a half. That's all I got left in the month. So I might as well just not even worry about it. And this little diet that I was on, to hell with this diet. That's kind of where it goes, because we put this pressure on ourselves to accomplish this specific resolution, quote unquote, and we don't hit it. So then it's like we lose all the motivation, we lose all the inspiration that we have. Whereas if we just went into it saying, okay, listen, in January, I am going to I'm going to cut sugar out of my diet. Like, I'm going to cut sugar out, and I'm going to cut the sodas out, and I am going to make sure that I drink at least 6 bottles of water. That's a little bit more realistic. I'm not going to say that I need to lose X amount of weight. I'm going to say I'm going to cut out sugar. And at the end of that month, I'm going to see where I'm at. And then surprise, surprise, at the end of the month, because you've cut out sodas, you started drinking water half the day, and you cut out sugar, which means you stop eating candy and snacks and things like that. And you've already, by the end of January, you already lost 14 pounds, and you weren't even planning on doing that. That right there is what's going to turn up the motivation. That right there is what's oh shit. Okay, I just lost 14 pounds. And then you're excited about it. And then you want to keep that momentum up. Right? So then you go into your second month and you're still not eating sugar. You are completely not doing any soda drinking. And then now you're starting to change up what you eat for breakfast. Or now you're starting to search for, you're on Pinterest and you're looking for, some protein snack. You're easing your way into it. That's how you keep the motivation going. You're not just going into it saying, January, I got to lose 50 pounds. And if I don't, what? That's not going to work. That's not going to work. So that was the biggest reason as to why people said they failed at their New Year's resolutions, because the goals, they were never really realistic to begin with. 33% of participants said that they failed because they didn't keep track of their progress. Well, now that just kind of counteracts what I just said about not really going into it with what you expect to do. So if people think that they failed because they didn't keep track of the progress, I feel like you can keep track of your progress, because just like I said, if you go into it, but not necessarily setting the intention of, okay, and we're just for the sake of this episode, we're just talking about weight, but apply this to whatever it is that you need to apply it. You go into it and you're like, all right, I'm not going to say how many pounds I need to lose. I'm just going to start changing up some of my behaviors. And then at the end of that month, when you realize that you've lost the 13, 14 pounds, then you go ahead and you track that. You journal that. I'm a big fan and believer in journaling. Journal it and say, okay, on this day or this month, this is what happened in this month. And these were my habits. So you don't have to maybe necessarily get technical with it and have like a chart or like download an app or, keep track of your steps. If you don't, those are all tools that will help. And, it just all depends on who the person is. But if you're not a person who really keeps track of those type of things, then find the alternative. What's going to help you to do that? So like I said, for me, like journaling would be my thing. Journaling is my jam. So if you are a person who likes to journal and just kind of express things, and that might be a way that you will keep progress of, what you've done. Keep track of your progress. And if you guys need, some journals, you can head on over to my website, passiontees.com, and I got the whole set of pink journals, set of 4. You guys can get those. There is a promo code. This is a shameless plug, y'all. Promo code new customer, and you'll get 15% off of those already low priced journals. You get a set of 4. We're doing a journal challenge starting next month. It was actually supposed to start in December, but I pushed it back to January. So you still have time to get those journals in. That was a word from our sponsors, me being the sponsor. But yeah, so that was one of the things that people said that why they weren't successful, because they weren't keeping track of their progress. So just find the alternative. Because if you're not really a writer, you don't write stuff down, you're not a chart person, then it will be easy for you to not keep a track. So figure out what's going to be best for you to keep track of that. However you need to do it. Like I said, for me, it would be, I would have a journal. So that, like, I'm not going to get all into the all of the statistics that I found. Those are just a couple of things that I thought were interesting, and how before the year is out, like there's just a significant decline in the success of the people who start out with setting goals or New Year's resolutions for themselves. I thought that was an interesting little fun fact to give y'all. So, all right, we talked about being for or against them. We talked about how effective they are. I told you guys, I'm not really one that's really been affected or successful with resolutions. I haven't set resolutions in a very long time. And so little bonus thing that I wanted to talk about, I just kind of wanted to do just a little touch on like intimacy and New Year's resolutions and just like couples. So this is just a little bit of a little piece for if you're in a relationship and how you can incorporate goals or resolutions into your relationship. And they don't have to really be resolutions, but it's just if you are in a relationship and you want to work on making things better or improving things or trying to, I guess, bridge a gap between you and your partner, make things stronger, change things for the better, spice things up, just whatever it may be, reconnect. You can definitely use the idea. Even if they're not New Year's resolutions, you can use the idea of setting New Year's resolutions into your relationship to bring the two of you together, right? And so there are a couple of things that are going to help you to do this. And so these are the tips that I want to provide for anyone who is listening that is in a relationship and wants to go into a new year. If you feel like your relationship just kind of needs a little bit of a tune-up, right? Where, again, whether you're for or against New Year's resolutions, that's on, you decide if you are. But if you need to create a little bit more of a connection between you and your partner, and this is something that is very important to you, obviously, if it's a serious relationship and it's something that you want to work on, let's talk about how we can use New Year's resolutions. Like, what things can we do? Can we focus on? Can we incorporate into our relationship to try to make things a little bit better? And one of the things that we can do is to begin to get in sync with our partners, right? So build a connection with your partner. Do things together with your partner. Stop living such separate lives all the time, right? It's crazy how you can be in a relationship with someone but still have such a separate life from them, or still have, and that's not to take away from each of your independence or your own me time or anything like that, but like, if you feel like there's a disconnect, it's probably because there is, and you guys are not in sync with one another. So get in sync with your partner. Let that be something that you begin to do. So what actions can you take to begin to get in sync with your partner? This is where the goals come in. This is where the resolutions come in. We can make a resolution. We can make a goal. We can have make it a point to start waking up at the same time every morning, despite what our schedules are like. You don't have to be to work until 12. I don't have to be to work until 9. I work from home. You don't. Like, let's still wake up together. Let's wake up. Let's meditate together. Let's wake up and let's have breakfast together. Let's make a quick breakfast together. Let's cook a dinner together. Do things that you're going to create like that in sync feeling with one another. You have to create that connection between the two of you, and that is you're going to begin to see a change in some things, right? Because you could be in a relationship with someone and really social media will have more of your attention than your partner does, and that's really sad. That's really sad, and that's not something that that's not a habit that you want to carry into a new year, if that's been something that's been like affecting you, right? So try new things, do something different, get out of the routine, get out of the boring same old routine. Like, also, you want to do things together, you want to incorporate new things, but like, find some new and exciting things to do. Like, bring the fun back to your relationship. Just do something different, whether that's in the bedroom or outside of the bedroom. Just try to do something a little bit different. What else? Making sure that you're finding the opportunities and the time to be intimate on a deeper level. And I'm not just talking about I'm not talking about just sex. I'm actually talking about finding the time to really be intimate with one another, whereas you're sitting down and you're having these heart-to-heart talks, whether that's eye gazing with one another, whether that is like physical touch with one another, whether you're really like taking the time to spend with one another, answering and asking questions, really doing something that is going to promote that intimacy, that like deep intimacy is what I'm talking about, like that soul intimacy. Find the time to actually do that. That's important. That could be something that you incorporate into, goals that you have for your personal relationship. If that's something that you think that you need, make it a priority. Make your relationship, make time for your relationship, because some people are just not, they're getting comfortable, they're content, and they're not putting in that effort anymore. And then things are starting to fall apart. Relationships are drifting away. People are losing, people that really mean something to them because they're not taking care of what they have when they have it. And so if going into a new year, you need to just take assess your relationship. We talked about on the last episode, like assessing your friendships. assess your relationship and figure out what you need to do to make that better, right? So you definitely can use intimacy. You definitely can use sex. You definitely can use physical bonding. You definitely can use all of those things to create resolutions for your relationship in order to bring about like a positive change between the two of you. And I think that if it's worth it to you, that is something that you should definitely look into and that you should definitely seek to, make a priority in your life, right? So that was just a little, when I kind of was reflecting on my own relationship, and I was just kind of thinking about, when I wanted to talk about being inspired to do more things for myself and my body and take care of myself, and like just based off of my own relationship and what I've been inspired to do, I just kind of thought about, talking about that in general as one of the points for the episode. So hopefully somebody that provided a little bit of value to somebody. Like, take care of these relationships, take care of these men, take care of these women. Like, if you got something good, really hold on to that and really like do what you need to do. And like, when I was doing all of this research on New Year's resolutions and like why people are actually set the New Year's resolutions and why people, put so much emphasis on it, it's because there's this whole thing, this like fresh start feeling, right? There's this whole mental, and it's mental. A lot of it is just mental. It's like we set these things because we get this feeling of like fresh start. So the end of the year, it's like out with the old, in with the new. It's the top of the year. It's a brand new year. We've never seen this year before. We've never gone into this year. This is the first month of the year. So it's like, this is the point where we feel like, all right. So last year was shitty. I'm going to start over. Last year was shitty. 2020 was shitty. 2022 is about to be lit. New year, new me. Who this? Like, that's kind of how we go into it. And so I think that's why people put so much emphasis on it. And I think that's okay. A fresh start is always like necessary. We always talk about like, you have to do a reset sometime. That's like a part of your self-care. There goes that word self-care again. When you need a reset, you need a reset. And I think that mentally it's like, all right, I'm gonna try. Okay. Come January, it's like we always say that little speech to ourselves. Come January, I'm doing this. I'm starting this. I'm doing this. I'm starting this. I've done that. Hell. I think I've done that every year. And I ain't even going to tell y'all how far I go. But not that I set resolutions, but it's just that I have these intentions at the beginning of the year. And, I think it does make a difference. So I think that to help us take some of the pressure off of New Year's resolutions, let's just change the game, right? Let's change the game up and let's put a new twist on it. And let's normalize not calling them New Year's resolutions anymore. We are going to call them New Year readiness goals. New Year readiness goals, right? Why do we want to call them New Year readiness goals? So let's get technical. With the definition of readiness is the state of being ready to act when the need arises. The state of being ready to act when the need arises. That is what readiness means. So let's call our resolutions readiness goals. So it's like we have these goals and we're going to accomplish them when we're ready, when the need arises. So let's go into this, and it's like, if you feel good about yourself, if you feel healthy, if you feel okay, if you feel like, you're good, you don't go into the year feeling like, I gotta lose all this weight this year. If you get to the point in February, March, April, if you feel like, okay, you know what? I know I feel good about myself, But I know I probably could lose a couple of pounds. I probably could tone up a little bit. You know, I have a trip coming up. I have the wedding I want to go to. I'm planning to do this traveling or whatever. So I might feel a little bit better. I already feel good. I'm already dope as fuck. I'm beautiful as ever. But I feel like I might be even, I might feel even better if I did this. So when the need arises, work on it, right? When the need arises, that's what readiness means. So let's call the New Year's resolutions New Year readiness goals. When the need arises, set the intention, place it as a goal, and then do what you got to do. New Year readiness goals. That is what I want to call New Year's resolutions. I think it sounds more realistic. I think it changes the game on it a little bit. I think it changes the dynamic of it. And I think it makes it a little bit more attainable to us mentally. Whereas we feel like when we have to have a whole ass list of resolutions, we're just adding pressure. We're just trying to keep up with what we're seeing on social media, or we're just trying to do what we think everybody else is doing, and that's not what we necessarily need to do. We need to do what we need to do for us, right? So that's where we're at. We're setting New Year readiness goals. We are taking New Year's resolutions out of our vocabulary. So this time next year, when your girl is doing the New Year episode, I ain't talking about resolutions. We're talking about New Year readiness goals. And I am going to use that for me. That is what, when you guys hear me talk about New Year readiness goals, know that that's what I'm talking about. We're not doing resolutions. Resolutions are retired. So get on board, get your mind right, and just enjoy the time. Go into the new year feeling blessed that you made it into the new year, right? Because everybody didn't make it. Everybody didn't come with us. So go into it feeling great about it, feeling blessed about it, feeling grateful about it. Let's go into the new year with an attitude of gratitude. And let's just be happy that we're even here to experience 2022, right? And let's just pray that we will continue to experience every day. We're going to take the good, we're going to take the bad, and we're going to take the ugly. We're going to take all of that. If that means that we're able to see another day, I'll take it. If I have to experience a bad day, a bad moment, a bad week, a bad month, if it means that I'm still living, breathing, and able to spend time with the people that I love and still see the faces of the people that I love and breathe in this good air, I'll take it. I'll take it. I will take it because, like I said, everybody wasn't able. You know what I mean? Shout out to all of the people that are grieving right now, that are going through something. Shout out to everybody who lost someone due to COVID, due to just whatever it is that they lost people to. Shout out to everybody that's just trying to just make it. Shout out to the people who are trying to be strong for their families and their loved ones and their significant others. And shout out to the people that are just trying to get past their own traumas and their own trials and tribulations. And just like, I hope that this year, whatever you had to endure in 2021, I hope that 2022 provides you with just a better outlook of life. I hope that it provides you with positive energy. I hope that it provides you with love and success. I hope that it provides you with unexpected blessings. I hope that it provides you with joy. I hope that it provides you with good health and wealth. I hope that it provides you with opportunities coming at you left and right. And I hope that it just provides you with a sense of knowing that you are you and that you are here for a purpose and that you are going to be okay. Right? So, listen, y'all, I'm wrapping this up. I thank you guys for tuning in. This is the official last show of 2021. The next show will officially be 2022 when you guys hear my voice again. And I just want to thank everybody again that has supported me this far. For me, it's been a very long and stretched out journey in Thoughts of a Blog Queen and my other platform, Pink Tea Chronicles, which should be ready to relaunch in 2022 first quarter. Shout out to everybody that's just been supportive of the brand, the podcast, the blog, the merch, everything. I appreciate everything. Everybody that has shown interest, everybody that has shown love and support, everybody that has shared, everybody that has talked about, everybody that has promoted, everybody that has mentioned it, just everybody that has done a small piece of support, has offered a small piece of support to me on this journey or for this platform. I appreciate it. I thank you. I look forward to continuing to do this. I look forward to continuing to build on this platform. I look forward to continue to promote other people, collaborate with other people, and help other people, inspire other people. And I just look forward to what else is to come. I have so many goals and I have so many dreams that I wish to, manifest in my life. And it has been a joy for me to be able to get on this microphone and to talk to the people that actually look forward to listen to me. So with that being said, I thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to share this episode with someone that you think needs to hear it. Share it in Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You guys know the routine. Until next time, you guys, peace and blessings.
Let's do this.
You're listening to the Thoughts of a Blog Queen podcast.
These are just